Hi everyone, welcome to another learning session brought to you by AB Tutoring, where learning is as easy as ABT. Alright, welcome again. Today we'll be looking at the laws of indices. Now, what is an index? This is simply a power or an exponent of a number. Now, for example, if we have x cubed, right, and let's say x, let's consider x our base. The index, the exponent or the power would be 3. So 3 would be that index. So we're going to look at how we treat these numbers going forward. Law number 1. When multiplying indices with the same base, we add the powers. Our general form for law 1 would be a raised to the b times a raised to the t being equal to a raised to the b plus t. Now let's look at a practical example. 3 raised to the 3 times 3 raised to the 4. Now our answer would be 3 to the 3 plus 4, which is equal to 3 to the 7. Are we confident? Yes, we are. But let's expand this a little more. Let's just try to make sense of it. 3 to the 3 is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 to the 4 is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Am I right? I think so. Now we know that 3 to the 3 is 3 times 3 times 3, right? We know that. And we know that 3 to the 4 is this, right? If we count all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we have 7 3s, which is why we know that this is equal to 3 to the 7. Make sense? So law 1, when we are multiplying indices with the same base, we add the powers. Law number 2, when dividing indices with the same base, we subtract the powers. Now, what is our general form? Our general form is a raised to the b divided by a raised to the t being equal to a to the b minus t. Let's put a practical example on the board. Let's say 3 to the 7 divided by 3 to the 4th, right? This would be equal to 3 to the 7 minus 4 being equal to 3 cubed. Let's work this out a little more. 3 to the 7 is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Did I get that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, great. Divided by 3 to the 4. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now, we can cancel 3's, numerator and denominator. So that 3 cancels, that 3 cancels, that 3 cancels, that one cancels, and we're left with 3 times 3 times 3. What's that? 3 cubed. And again, when we divide indices with the same base, we subtract the powers. Law number 3, when raising indices with the same base, we multiply the powers. So here is the general form. A raised to the b raised to the t is equal to a b times t, which is equal to a raised to the bt. Now, let's look at a practical example again. Let's say we have 4 cubed raised to the 2. So this would simply be 4, 3 raised to the 2, which is equal to 4 to the 6. Makes sense so far? Now this is 4 raised to the cube squared is the same thing as 4 cubed times 4 cubed. Because when you square it, you multiply the same thing by the same thing, right? Yes. Now, from law 1, which we proved already to be true, we just need to add the powers here. So, from our practical example, when raising powers with the same base, we multiply the indices. Law number 4. When the base is raised to a power of 0, the result is 1. Now look at our general form. A raised to the 0 is equal to 1. Now let's try to make sense of this, right? So we are saying 3 to the 0 is equal to 1. Let's look at it this way. 3 cubed divided by 3 cubed is equal to 3. And we know this is our law 2. 3 minus 3, which is 3 to the 0. Now 3 cubed, which is 3 times 3 times 3, divided by 3 cubed, and we can cancel through. So 3 into 3, 1. 3 into 3, 1. 3 into 3, 1. So we have 1 divided by 1, which is 1. Therefore, when a base is raised to is indexed to 0, the result is 1. Law number 5. When a base is indexed to a negative power, the result is the reciprocal of said base raised to said power. Now our general form would be A raised to the minus b is equal to 1 over A raised to the b. Let's look at a practical example again. 3 squared divided by 3 to the 5th. Yeah? So this is equal to 3, law 2 again, squared minus 5, which is equal to 3 to the minus 3. Okay, good. We're in agreement so far. Now let's look at this part. 3 squared, 3 times 3, divided by 3 to the 5th, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. What is that equal to? So that will cancel. That will cancel. We have 1 at the top, and we have 1, 2, 3. So therefore, 3 to the negative 3 is the same as 1 over 3 cubed. And that is the general form, and that is a practical example. So when we raise a base to a negative index, the answer or the result is a reciprocal raised to the said base. Law number 6. When a base is indexed to a fraction, the base should be indexed by the numerator and rooted by the denominator. Now this is the general form. A raised to the b over t is equal to the t root of a to the b. Now let's look at a practical example. 27 raised to the 2/3 would be equal to the cube root of 27 squared. The cube root of 27 is 3. So we're left with 3 squared, which is 9. Or if you want to work it the other way, you could say, let's write it here. 27 squared is 729. And you find the cube root of that, which would be 9. Oh, it's here. Which would be 9, right? So either way you can work it, right? And that is our final law of indices, right? When you raise a raised to the b over t, it's a t root of a to the b. Final law. Hi everyone, thank you again for tuning in to another video brought to you by AB Tutoring. I thought that video was fairly simple, and you know what I'm going to say? I thought it was as easy as A, B, T. Thanks for tuning in again.